Hello, sir. So I was learning about the options that we can how we can use TypeScript. These are the options to play with the TypeScript, uh, to get the to uh, to project the TypeScript as we want. So there are few options that I learned yesterday, and I'll be completing that today. So let's talk about this source map. What is source map? It was defaultly set to this. Okay, so it helps us with debugging and development. It basically act as a bridge to connect JavaScript files to the TypeScript files. That is the input files. Okay, so firstly, it is turned off. So I will just run my hmm. Okay, it is run now. I will just open this and then inspect, and then we will come to sources. As you can see, it only have like the JavaScript files right now. Okay, and suppose if we want to if we have a complex project and we want to debug things, so we will want TypeScript files here as well. So for that we will be using the source map option. So here I just comment this off. Hmm. So now it is turned on. So as you can see, as soon as I turn on this, we see that two map files are created corresponding to the uh, respective JavaScript files and the TypeScript files. So inside this, there is some complex things are there. So it basically acts as a bridge between the JavaScript and the input file. So now when I will reload my page, yeah, now we can see that this src file is also here that contains our TypeScript files. So here we can directly debug from here as well if we have some complex projects. So for now I'm turning that off. Where is it? In this here. Okay, so it is turned off. We will just delete this both. Hmm. So now coming to out dir, this out dir and root dir. I've already said this. So what does out directory mean? So it means that it tells where the created JavaScript files should be stored, and the root directory tells that where should all my TypeScript files should be stored and should be taken as the input. Okay, so I have already defined it. So when I created this when I ran the tsc command here, so automatically my corresponding JavaScript files are stored here in the distinct function dist folder that I created, and I added to the HTML as well. Okay, so this just tells that where the JavaScript file should be stored, the created JavaScript files, and this tells that where should all the TypeScript file should be stored to take the input. Suppose if we make a new folder here, and then I run my command again, then the same then in this distinct folder, one more folder will be created, and the the TypeScript will take that folder as whole as an input, and then create a new folder here. So that's not we want to organize, keep our project organized. So this helps in keeping our project organized. So it has all the TypeScript files, and it has all the corresponding JavaScript files. So yeah, that's about it. Now coming to remove comments. Okay. So, what as the name says, any comments in the TypeScript file will be removed in the JavaScript files. So, suppose there's a comment or not. Zero. Okay. So I added this comment in like analytics.ts, and it is not coming here. And suppose if I mm, remove it, now what will happen? It the comment is here. So it can be used to like make our file smaller, file size smaller. Okay. So now coming to the next option, that is no emit, this one. So what is this? So it does not emit output like it does not emit outputs like JavaScript files. It can be used to check that the files is correct and save some time. Okay. So this is what this no emit option is used. Like I will give you an example. So suppose if I comment it as true and then delete my already made JavaScript files, delete, recycle mean, and then come to my terminal, close the process, and then start the process again. Now you can see there are no like JavaScript files created. So it can be used to check that the file is correct and saved some time. Like yeah, so it is like that. There's no emit output option. So we will just we'll comment it out because we want our output to be created. Now coming to the next thing, that is this no emit on error. So we have to create this option because it does not generate JavaScript files. If it does, if it is set on true. Okay. So like it is set on true. Uh, Wait, let me give you an example for this as well. So I was talking about this no emit error option. So if it is set to true, then if my TypeScript file has any error, then if I run it and it will not generate any JavaScript file. So it is better for error handling. Suppose uh, like I just sorry, I just change it as number. Okay. Now I introduce an error. You can see it is not because my in this type is set to number, it is not string, so it will give me an error. So when I try to run my file, it will give me like error and no like JavaScript file is created. And then if I set it to default, like if I set it to false, false is default. Like it means like in default conditions, we know that if we generate this the files like gave us error here, but it generated the files, the JavaScript files. So we can use, you can set this to true to make our error handling more effective and better. Okay, now coming to the next thing, that is this strict options. Okay, so what are strict options? Like it is defaultly set to true. Okay, now coming to the first thing in strict, that is no implicit any. So what does this do? So no implicit any, it is set to false. So it raises error. It raises error on using any type. So if we are using any type, it will raise an error. It is clearly shown here. And then coming to the next thing, that is strict null checks. So it tells the TypeScript to be strict regarding the values that we use. Mm, that hold a completely null value. Like if it is set to true, suppose strict null checks. It is set to true. Now coming to my file, first I have to change it string. Hmm. Okay. So if I do this, no error is getting introduced. Okay, 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 okay. It is because of this. So if this strict null checks is defaultly it is true. So if it's set to false, I think okay, I have to set that to true only to get to know the error. Yeah, so defaultly it is set to true. And then coming to our app ts file, yeah. So suppose if I remove this explanation mark, so yeah, it is giving me error in here, like in this button value because what does this strict null checks do? It tells us that if the function is like we created it is it null or not? Like suppose here button after removing the like this invert explanatory mark, okay, we get to introduce to an error. So this tells us that if the button exists or not, that we don't know. Okay, if it doesn't exist in here, like if we remove this as well, then also like it won't give us an error. So to tackle this thing, like that we should not use a null value. We should write this as true only. If it's set to false, then it will not give us the error that I showed you. Like if it's set to false, then see it is not giving an error. Like we can see. So that is about this. So I'll just do this, and then we can see it is giving us error. And then I guess I can also do one thing as well. Like if I can bind this in this button, then close it. Yeah. So now after removing this, I will not get an error as well. So it is just it is showing me that I am calling something and it is not null. So it is verifying that if option. So this is all about it. Now coming to the next type, it is strict function types. Like it enables strict checking on function. Okay, and then it enables strict checking on bind. Like if we are binding something and it doesn't have a value, like it has a null value, then it gives a checks on that. Like you cannot bind a null value to that function. Okay, now coming to the next thing, like these all things we will see later. Hmm. So by default, this strict file is these strict options are selected true if this thing is true. The this first argument is true. Okay, now coming to the next part, that is no unused locals, no unused parameters, and no implexitators. You can clearly get to know them by their name. These are used to get the code quality like these are called code quality options. These are used to check the code quality. So like if you have unused local parameters, suppose if it is on if I like yeah, if I uncomment this, you can see it is giving me an error. Username is declared, but its value is never read. So this helps us to get to know that if there are any unused parameters here, okay, unused constants here. If we add like, sorry, if we add something like address, oh, string. Okay, now this is an unused parameter. We are not using it. So it is regular, but its value is never read. So like this, no unused local is used to get like the local thing, and this is used to check the parameters thing. Now no implicit returns. So it tells us like suppose I'll just comment these out first and then remove this as well. Like if I remove this return from here, okay, now it is giving me an error because I am inside a function. If we are returning something, then at the time of closing it should return something. Okay, not all code paths return a value. So inside a function, if we are like returning something in the first argument, then we should return something at the last argument as well. All the code paths should return a value. So like if it is there, then it will not give us an error. Okay, so this is mostly about all the things I have learned. Like this source map option is used to define the source map settings that we discussed before, like uh, what we can do like here in this source settings. So that defines that. Now, yeah, so this is all about this. Like these things we will be learning later. Okay, in the course, he didn't tell me about these things. So yeah, until this I have completed. These things we will get to learn in the experimental decorators. And these things should be like set to default only. Like no need to change anything here. Okay, so the TypeScript will be helping us only. So now coming to the next part. So next I learned about the next generation JavaScript and TypeScript. So what are the new things, new version of JavaScript that is used? So that is the to use the function in it. So that is what is taught in this module. So first of all, there this is a table that tells that in each type of language, like this TypeScript, uh, how can we use this function, in which browser we can use. So this is the table about that. And now I'll be telling about like ES6, that is we use let and const uh, that came as the most recent that came in the most recent like JavaScript type, that is ES6 that I told you. So that is the most recent JavaScript type, so that is used. So why are we using let and const, and why not where, the traditional function? So yeah, so what is the meaning of const? So it can't be changed if we try to assign a new value. Okay, so suppose here is the example. So const username is stored as max. Now we are assigning username a new value, that is max million. So it is giving us an error. So this is what const do. Now let and where. Let and where are similar, but we should not use where anymore because of the scope in which they are available. As where has a global scope, sorry, yeah, global and function scope, and on the other hand, let has a block scope. So let me see. Here you can see I have used let command. Okay, so it means that let is used inside here, and we have declared result. But if we like remove this and paste it here, then also we can see that let can be ran here. Okay, this is about let. Now talking about where. So where is just like let. So it if we declare a value with a constant with let, then we can change its value, we can re-declare it. So where also do the similar thing, but the difference is like it uses global and function scope, and let uses block scope. Suppose uh, I just comment this out and then uncomment this. So here you can see I have used, what is the error here? Duplicate identifier. Okay, I also used so I will just move this. Yeah. So now here I have used arrow functions. Okay. So so this A and B. Oh, sorry. Uh, First I have to tell that where. Yeah. Suppose this is our function. Sorry, this is a if condition. Suppose. Okay. And also, yeah. So if we where here. Wait a second. So like this is the if condition. So if we run this thing with var, and then we are console logging this outside of this if function, then if we run this in our console, then it will give the answer. But if we change here, if we change to let here, see, it is giving you an error that is old is declared, but its value it never read. Okay, so this tells that let has a block scope, and it is just scope used. Its scope is like we can use this is old inside this, not outside this. It is its scope is blocked, like here in these curly bracket in if condition. But if we use like where here, as I just told you that if we use where here, we can like get the value, and if we get this inside, we will get the answer as well, because it is used inside the block scope. So this is the main difference, like the where can do this thing in global and function scope only, like not in the other conditions. So if we used where in if condition, or like anything other than global or function scope, it will work like normally without limiting usage. Which on the other hand, let has block scope, so it will as I said you, it will throw error, since it should always be available in block, in the block which we define. So that's why we use let and cons over where to write a cleaner code. So thank you, sir. Now I'll be giving the update in the next video.